All right, today we're going to start the first one of the Method Actor Speaks. And we have royalty here today from the Carradine family. And we have Calista and her lovely daughter. And
another one on the way.
Another one on the way. And we have a stunt double somewhere running around. But let's, Calista, I've always wanted to get you on the show. Because you're very talented. You come from a... Well, the first thing, let me ask you this. Why did you want to get in the business?
Why did I want to get in the business? Well, I know when I was a little girl I wanted to either be a singer or an astronaut. But I didn't like school much, so the astronaut business was out. I wanted to be the first woman on the moon. But in acting, you can play someone that goes on the moon.
Right.
But no, seriously, when I came out to California, because my mother raised me in upstate New York, because my parents were doing Broadway and they broke up, and my mom took a job at a fine arts college, and my dad went back to LA. So when I came out to LA and saw how fun the movie business was, you know, I thought that was definitely what I wanted to do. I got raised in theater, so.
So you had a lot of theater training, and just so the audience knows that the Carradine, your grandfather was John Carradine, and your father was David, and your uncle is Keith.
So my grandfather has he's the second, holds the, I thought he held the record for the most films ever done, but apparently he's second runner-up.
Really?
And my dad is, I think he was the fastest draw in Hollywood.
In real life?
No, in movies.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, yeah, but you had to really do it.
Yeah.
Faster than Sammy Davis Jr.? Because he was quick. I used to remember when he used to do it.
This is what they've told me.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mariah and I just did a film together that's not out yet. We did Nail House.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Next time I come in, I'll bring you a clip.
Oh
Do
yeah,
that.
I did a little a scene in that with you guys.
You weren't in a scene with me.
No, I was in a scene with Johnny Barrymore.
He played your husband, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
John played your husband?
I don't know that was ever really like to the audience whether that'll be what it seems to be or not. But I was definitely the girl on his arm. So I don't know that they ever said wife. So you know, we'll see how
Trophy
it portrays.
Trophy wife?
Trophy wife.
But yeah.
Johnny Barrymore played a very well-to-do man, and she was his beautiful wife.
And I was all done up with massive hair, and they even made me have a tan, so like I looked like a different culture almost, and it was quite
exotic.
fun.
They went exotic.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, and we did that with Roger Mendy, which I did a couple other films with, and my grandpa David did some films with Roger as well. I did Money to Burn with Roger Mendy, and you did a film with Roger Mendy a while back too.
That was Nail House.
Before Nail House.
Did I?
Before.
When I played a 13-year-old boy? No, that one doesn't count.
Probably not. I think you were working with Roger back when I was in my teens on something too.
That was when I played a 13-year-old boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played that son of his.
I was a teenager and you were playing a teenager. That's hilarious.
No. It's a long story, and honestly, I don't think I could tell it well.
Okay.
Really? Now, you and John Barrymore are very good friends, too.
Yeah, we're doing a movie at the end of the month, actually.
Really?
Yep.
We got to get you and John on together.
We're doing one together, and we were both in Nail House, and we have another film coming out. I think they renamed it. I can't remember what that one is, where we play a married couple. And then we have Matahari coming out together whenever that gets all together.
Matahari?
Matahari.
Are you playing Matahari?
Is that one of the dames that you used today?
It's a little before my time. You know who Matahari was.
My grandfather was working on
That's your kind of woman, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My grandfather was working on Matahari, you know, for most of her life. He's been
all of your life.
All of my life, and before I was even here.
Yes.
And so Annie and my mom have, you know, been really working hard to get his work out, you know, because he spent his lifetime trying to finish that. So
Did he ever tell you why he was so interested in that character?
It's funny because I thought he wanted to do the movie when he found out I wanted to be an actress. And years after we started filming, I found out he had started the movie with Barbara Hershey on Super 8. And when they broke up, he just decided to do it on CinemaScope with Live Dolby Stereo with me, which has caused some difficulties because he thought, if I'm going to shoot this for her entire life, and cast the people that are close to us so that they won't go away, I need the cutting edge. And he felt that the cutting edge of cinema was CinemaScope and Live Dolby Stereo. Some people say he was wrong, but I've got no problem putting it out in CinemaScope. I don't see the problem. I like the idea of keeping movies expensive and having them done right. That's just me.
well, the industry has just changed so much over the lifetime that he's been working on this project, and the kinds of equipment, and then even where you're going to be showing these shows, what capabilities those theaters have. So it'll be interesting to see how you guys work all that out, because that is the thing about working with an older a project that has been around so long is the technology has continued to change.
It does. When I watched my first movie, there was a lady in the corner on the stage playing the piano.
Right.
So it's different now. My dad did the soundtrack for this movie, and he doesn't have to show up and sit there on the stage.
Are you guys having to do any finishing of the film, or are you just doing what he
There's a couple shots that didn't get done yet.
Are you guys thinking of doing that?
Yeah.
That would be wonderful, because I would love to see it come out as a finished piece and instead of an incomplete piece. I think he's done so much footage, you guys could probably figure it out anyway, but it'd be nice to get what his envisionment was. So.
Well, there's a lot more to it, but I'm not going to go into all that right now.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's a big...
But you're really excited about doing it.
It's a big story, big complicated story.
There was quite a few other projects that he had that were, that ended up sitting on a shelf somewhere, and I think, you guys are trying to get all those projects out, so I think Matahari is the main goal, but there's other stuff, other unfinished work that he's done.
Oh.
And then his music, he always had such a passion for his music.
Oh, I'm doing a duet with my father.
Oh, you mean like Natalie Cole did with her father?
Exactly. There's a movie called Orphans in the Storm. And what it is David Bartlett has gone around the world to some orphanages, and he was getting all these kids singing. They love to sing, they love to be in the front of the camera, and they're very poor. So he's put together a film where the orphans are involved, and a lot of people in the music industry are donating music for them to sing to, or they're involved making some great music. And we are doing a duet. My father wrote a song that it's called Maybe It's Just Paint. It's about a rainbow, and so we're going to shoot a video. I'm going to sing the song with some of the orphans doing the chorus, and it's really a beautiful concept. Then they're going to make a CD and put the CD out with all the different music that everyone's contributed and the orphans have been involved with. And so both projects, the CD, the music, and the film raise money for the orphanages and to bring the United Nations human rights to the orphans so that they know that they have rights.
Is there a place the audience can find out more about this that you could tell them?
Yeah, they can go to orphansinthestorm.com.
Great, so this way people know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
And so you're going to be singing, and they're also going to use when he was singing? So kind of like back and forth?
Yeah,
That's really cool.
You'll hear.
Like Natalie Cole did with Natalie Cole, they had Unforgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Which was unforgettable.
Didn't you sing that song a couple times with your dad?
He actually, my father had started doing a record album with me.
Right. No, I remember you guys were working together. That's why I sang that song.
He hired a producer, and I did that song alone.
Oh, okay. Alone. So
he's done the song alone.
Okay.
But we're not mixing them two because they wouldn't go together that way. I'm laying into his track.
Yeah, he would sing a song different, a little different every time. It was his music, so he could do that.
Do that, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be
Well,
playing the piano, and it should be. I remember she'd be like, "That's not how it goes."
Oh, we got the biggest argument in Toronto when we were filming Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. We were downstairs at the piano, and he's playing Georgia, right? And I said, I don't do it in that key. And that's not the way I do this song. He says, that's the way the song's done. You know? And it turned out he was playing the original. He says, this is the way it was written. This is the way it was meant to be. I said, if Ray Charles hadn't done that song, no one would know it existed.
That's true.
So
that was them at the piano. Because I remember
it was heated.
It was. I remember an argument very similar to that, where he's at the grand piano, and he's playing one of the songs he wrote, and she's trying to sing with him, and he's changing it up because that's what he does. He wrote it, so he'll play with it. He kind of does it in a way where there's some basic things you have to hit, but you can fiddle around from there.
Right. And
she's like, that's not the way it goes. And he's like, and they're fighting, it's escalating, and then he goes, I wrote it, I would know. And she's like, no, you don't, you forget.
You forget.
So, he did forget sometimes.
He did forget sometimes, but
my
really
father
did.
forgot more than I will probably ever know.
Well, I don't know. I've heard the same stories tons and tons of times.
I was just basically telling you he's a genius.
Yeah. Yeah, but he did do that with his music. Is someone would try to play with him, and it was like, well, what mood is he in today? Which way is it gonna go?
I remember the songs he wrote in the '70s better than he did, because those were the ones that, when I was a teenager, and now I've aged myself, but I mean, how can I get away with it? I've got a grandbaby on the way. When I was a teenage mom, my father and I, right before then, we were able to spend a lot of time, because when you're a little girl, you spend a lot of time with your mother. When you're an adult, you spend a lot of time with your career, your man, and your children. But that little area, when you're a teenager, that's when I got to spend time with my father. That's when you got to spend time with my father. That's when my sister, who's a trick rider in Cavalia in Australia right now, got to spend time with my father. And then my brother, and these were all different times.
Is your brother in the business too?
My brother.
Oh, he's an amazing martial arts instructor.
He's a third-degree black belt. He does capoeira, stick fighting.
Well, does he have a website or something? Or?
Yes, but I don't have any of that information. He has a.
Well, what's his first name?
Free Carradine. So it's Free Carradine, and he teaches many different types of martial arts, and he's been doing martial arts for years, and he's an amazing martial artist. He's done other things within the field of acting before, and he used to do sound editing.
He also did special effects. Back when special effects were monsters, was his main thing. Yeah. And back then, you'd use a couch to make lips.
Yeah.
And now it's all digital. Because he's an artist too.
Well, you're doing Kung Fu again, aren't you?
I am. I'm actually an authorized leader of class. I'm not authorized to actually teach, but I'm leading a.
What does that mean?
Class.
You're authorized, but not.
She's so excited about this little title.
It really means nothing, but I get a big kick out of it. They're letting me lead the class. It's a great honor.
The teacher's not going to be there today, and she gets to basically teach, so she's all excited.
Well, because normally you can't teach unless you have a black belt, and I'm an actress. I learned Shaolin 5 Animals, but they let me skip around a little bit, honestly, because I was going to be on camera. So I learned the system, a little bit spotty though, so I'm tightening it up now. I'm going through it to get every little nook and cranny. I always loved it. It's like a violent dance. It's beautiful.
Really, but that's an interesting.
And it does things, and you notice how it affects your life and your psyche, and how you feel inside. And like for instance, with the stick fighting, normally people stick fight like this. I stick fight like this. I just keep backing you up into a wall, which I think it goes that I don't listen enough. right? And that I don't, that encompasses how
Right.
how I handle life. I just keep driving forward.
Driving you on, yeah.
You know,
Well, you were a single
Which
mother
is a
with
bit
your
of
girls,
Yeah.
and I remember. I mean, this was in the '90s when I met you and your mother.
Yeah.
and with dancing, you're a swing
I like
dancer,
to swing
and they
dance.
always tell me I need to put up more resistance. Which translates into life as well. You know, you're supposed to tell the theater that they need to pay you, or
Right.
or you're supposed to tell the man that he needs to marry you. These kind of things. But right, in dancing, you're supposed to put up more resistance, right? And I'm like, go ahead, put my songs in the film. You don't pay me anything, So,
Well, getting back to the family, one thing that I've always kind of really enjoyed when people bring up my grandpa is my grandpa was kind of a jack of all trades, but not in the sense that where he only knew a little piece. Like, he was amazingly, really, really good at numerous things. Like, he was an amazing actor, a really great singer, musician. He was a fabulous artist. He did all these different paintings and drawings that were really cool. He played numerous instruments. He did martial arts, and he did all these things so well.
he directed.
Yeah, he directed, and he had
He
at
rode.
least he had at least 25 years experience in everything he did, at least. So even things that he started later in life, he became brilliant
He
at.
started playing guitar at 35.
And he was brilliant.
But he started
And so-
playing piano at like 5. And that was
But
fantastic.
his kids all kind of took different specialties. They might dabble in some of the stuff, but they don't have the 25 years plus yet, like he did in every
What
area.
was
But
yours?
mine was acting, and I love to dance. My mom's is singing was her main thing, but she also loves to act and dance. My sister is an amazing artist. My Uncle Free is an amazing martial artist, but he's also a really good artist, And then my Aunt Kansas, she's a trick rider, and she does these amazing rope tricks and stuff.
She can jump through a hoop of fire. She can ride tandem, which
Right.
is standing on 2 horses
So, I mean,
at the same time.
she's
at a full gallop. She can ride in a back bend at a full gallop.
Right.
And then I saw her the day her second child was born, has the baby in, so no
Infant.
excuses, on her chest, and she's
Roping.
going in and out of the rope, up and over the rope.
With the
Yeah,
baby. It was great.
amazing.
And that was the thing is like,
amazing.
so far I would say that Kansas probably surpassed Grandpa with horsemanship, and Uncle Freeze probably surpassed him with martial arts at this point. Maybe he's still here, that might not be the case, but and then you have really started making your singing just you've really worked on it a lot, and then you're also acting as well. So the legacy gets to live on because of all.
Well, he got a lot of that, I would believe, from his father.
Yeah, his father was definitely a jack of all trades.
Well, yeah, he was a sculptor.
So talk a little bit about
John was a sculptor, and I've seen some great sculptures that my father's done. He sculpted one of his wives, and you looked at the sculpture and you could see bits of her personality that you wouldn't think show in the flesh.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. And my grandfather used to sculpt. He would build a sculpting studio. You know the place out in,
Don't think of it,
they
it'll come
turned it
to you.
into a museum where the boys used to live, but my grandfather would rent a place and then build onto it.
Oh.
And one of the places he built a sculpting studio. But then he'd leave and move on, and the landlord
And
would get to.
he did so many other
the
things too, because
addition.
he played numerous instruments, Great Grandpa John, and he acted, and he did plays and movies and tons of different genres. He sang too, didn't he? I think I have a recording.
With 4 notes beneath the piano.
Yes, I
That's
have a
how
couple
low,
of recordings.
right.
Yeah, he's really low singing, and he did poetry.
Well, I was born in New York, so my father was trying to get on Broadway. That would really impress John. TV did not impress my grandfather. He said, "You're selling soap. You're selling soap." I can't do his voice. All the boys can.
But Great Grandpa John did some TV. He did
He
that.
did TV for my dad. He worked on Kung Fu.
But
the
he
original
also,
Kung Fu.
but even before then, he was on the Red Skelton show
That's true.
as a painter.
Yeah. But
right.
back at that era, it was looked frowned upon.
Well, back then
TV.
you really were selling soap.
They really were.
Or in that particular episode, they were selling lamb's milk. The pet's milk. Remember the pet's milk?
Sure. Yeah, the condensed milk. That's what it was. It was the confectionery milk.
And they'd have the dancers come on and you know.
So in New York, my father's first play on Broadway was The Deputy, where he played a Catholic priest that hid the Jewish children from the Nazis.
Right.
And at the time it was actually controversial,
Right.
which was nice. And then he played the Inca King in Royal Hunt of the Sun, which actually got him Kung Fu 10 years later.
Really, there's a correlation.
And I think there's a magic, you know, he was learning to dance from my mother. And he also was a hoofer as well.
Yeah, well, what was your mother's name?
Donna.
Yeah,
Donna?
my grandma Donna was a
Maiden name, though.
Well,
I mean,
my mother was, by blood, her name would be Ballard, because she's Basque. But my grandfather's mother, Molly, my great-grandmother remarried, and she married a German. And so my grandfather took on his name. So she ended up with a German last name. But we're Basques, so that's back.
and she was a
Okay.
dancer.
But
She
well,
was a choreographer.
but when we
Alvin
were,
Ailey asked her to
Oh.
go with him, and
But
she was
as
given
a
a part
dancer-
on Broadway as well, but both she had to turn down because of this kind of thing.
well, my grandma Donna, if you were looking up her works and stuff, it would be under Beck. Donna Beck is what her dancing,
BECK?
yeah, is dancing career.
That's not how you spell it.
Well, how was it spelled?
BECHT.
CHT. And so she.
Say that again. So for
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
for the camera.
See, because it was different back then. And no, she went out under Carradine actually. She kept
Wait,
the name.
it's
Oh, okay.
after.
was under Carradine.
Oh, even before, because I
Her
thought
books
she.
still said Carradine.
Well, no, I know she goes. My grandma was okay. Let me
Because
get
she
back to
was
the story
raising
I
me,
was
she just
telling you,
kept
where you're
learning.
jumping ahead.
Yeah.
My grandpa and my grandma met in high school, so they were high school sweethearts. So they dated since they were like 15, and they got married in their early 20s. And so he went off to war, and she was focusing on her dance and stuff. So she had dance back then, and then they got married, and then she had dance as Carradine. So she's got both credits as her, as her father's last name, as well as her husband's last name in her career as a dancer, because she started dancing before they got married.
Right, I know, but
I mean, she was doing big productions before they married. But they both were at basically the height, well, not his height, but they were both started doing well at the same time frame. So she was doing, these really wonderful productions as a dancer, and he started
they
doing
actually
plays.
worked together
Yeah.
a number of times.
And they worked together on some projects, and then he went and made it famous, and she raised my mom and became a head of a dance
Head of the dance department at a fine arts college in upstate New York.
And so
And
she was the
she
head
did some really
choreographer.
great stuff. It was nice being raised over there. Marcel Marceau showed up to, when you're a dance
Sure.
teacher, someone will show up.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting childhood because the people that I grew up with, some of them had unicorn heads
Right.
and
Yeah.
this kind of thing,
And my grandma was raised by her two
all of
grandmothers.
this going on all the time.
So Grandma Donna was raised by her two grandmothers and obviously her father. And her father and John, my grandpa's dad, knew each other. They all played instruments back then. I mean,
Does my grandfather on my father's side play an instrument?
yeah, he did.
Which instrument?
I know that he played the clarinet.
That's the wrong grandfather.
No.
That is my mother's father.
That's
my mother's
your
father.
mom told me this story.
No.
Your mother's father. That clarinet was played by your mother's father.
Yes,
John
my
Carradine.
mother's father.
Yeah, your mother's father and John Carradine and David and you and me in middle school.
Okay, I don't think that my father's father played instruments.
He came up and picked it up and played
my
it.
my
Grandma
mother's
told me that
father
story.
did play the drums, the saxophone, the oboe,
Everything but the piano.
clarinet, the French horn, the guitar,
Everything
the
but piano.
tuba. Well, pretty much, but the mandolin.
But
He married a woman that played piano.
Great Grandpa John played instruments too.
What about
And-
you, Calista? What do you play?
Well, I play lousy guitar and even worse piano. I sing.
She
You
plays her
just-
vocal cords.
I was playing guitar until you came along, and then I got busy.
She
Yeah.
still plays
It's so
it.
easy to find
know
someone
what?
that plays really good
You
guitar.
grab her a guitar, and she can still play all the songs that she used to play, and
Yeah,
a couple that
I
she
did that
wrote
last
on.
night.
Now you're playing in a lot of the clubs. Where are you playing that people can find you?
Oh, well, you have to.
Do you have a website that people can go to?
I have a YouTube station that a YouTube channel.
Right.
I don't have a website.
What is the channel? Under Calista Carradine?
Calista Carradine's channel, I guess, and I have some songs on Reverb Nation. I'm still giving some away for free on MySpace, and I've been putting. I put a number of songs in a film called Mansion of Blood that's coming out soon, and I sing on camera in that, which is nice, and I play a role in that, and that's one of the ones.
Do you write a lot of your own songs?
I
or
write a
you-
lot of the lyrics. I don't normally write the music. Occasionally I
Right.
will.
She did a couple times when I was a baby. Those are the songs that if you pulled out a guitar and handed it to her, she still plays just as well.
So I would think to myself, need this song to be in this. I need to know that the lyrics I'm writing are in a structure that will
Right.
fit in a song, right? So sometimes I'll have a different song in my head and then make completely different music to it, but then I know it will fit into a structure.
Wow.
Yeah, or I'll take a song I like and play it backwards because I'm not really a musician. So I know those chords will fit together, but it's better for me to just get someone that's really good at it because I know what I want to hear,
Really?
She definitely got the music aspect of the gene. I didn't get the music aspect.
What did you get outside of acting?
Well, I love to act, and that's definitely my main focus. And
Have you
that's-
studied?
I've studied with Bobby Shaw Chance at Expressions Unlimited, and I've worked as an actress. Every audition I've ever had, I've booked.
Really?
Now, whether they
This
all
is-
came to be is
Do you
the
have an
question.
agent or a
This
manager,
is-
or you do
Well,
it on your own?
currently I'm kind of focused on
Right,
creating a
that's
new
it.
life at the moment.
Yeah.
But
When we were doing Nail House, they called me up and said, do you know any guys that we could put in the scene because we're going to write any guy actors, right? And I read the scene and I says, it looks like you have a couple of women. Do you need girls too? And he said, well, we could use one or two. And then I said, Mariah's available. He said, oh, yes, absolutely. I have something for her. And she was on a train at the time, and I said, do you have anything that looks like a wealthy woman? She said, yes, I do. Actually.
I was just
And-
coming back from vacation.
So she shows up, they hand her the script, she sat down there, they put on her makeup, she got in front of the camera, and that's it.
Well, she has that face. It's very photogenic, a very beautiful
and my
face.
mom was just so impressed. She's like, you memorized the script that quickly? It was like, I read the script twice, I set it down, we're still driving. She's like, don't you want to look at the script more? I'm like, I got it. I'm good. so
that one you didn't get to be driving. That one they gave you on set.
No,
I saw them. I saw
Oh, yeah,
all
you're
you
right.
guys sat down.
That's right, 'cause
and
they
they
gave me
handed
a
everybody their scripts.
they gave me
and
a completely
just
different
shot.
character. You gave me,
Yeah.
okay, they told me I was going to be one character, so I read that in the car,
You-
and my mom was impressed then. Then we get there, and they're like, no. This person's playing that character. She's playing this one. And they hand me a script. And as they're doing my makeup, I've already got it down, and my mom was just so impressed.
Yeah, she's-
That always came really easy for me. But when I'm not acting, I make specialty cakes, so I'm really
Ooh.
good at, like I make a
Death
hairy
by
monkey
chocolate.
cake
I like Death by
that
chocolate.
has
Yeah.
like a tree with big bananas on it and stuff. So I make like these really cute, party cakes and stuff like that. I also make these chocolate boxes that look like jewelry boxes that are painted in chocolate. That's all edible.
My favorite are the ones that look like little coffins, and then she paints in red chocolate for the velvet lining, and then preferably a nice little white skeleton.
Sometimes
she does
I do-
a peanut butter mummy.
Sometimes
And then it has a top on it. You take the top of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
I
peanut
like
butter
those.
muffins because they're like having little coffin shaped Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, I
Are
don't
these
like
for
these.
fun or these?
Yeah,
these
I've sold them. I've done them for people's weddings, like my sister's wedding.
Right.
I did a big Leaning Tower of Pisa kind of